Picture a fresh bed of snow on a winter morning. Remember how soft it looked, how all this scenery melted into a blanket of white, undisturbed splendor. Did you ever stop to consider each snowflake buried inside that coat of snow? Each unique and specific in its form and function, but coming together to make something greater.
In preparation for this week's episode, we combed through every film, every note, every photograph. All of the evidence from 2010 is before us. We present it to you now with additional raw audio from the films themselves, so you can hear every fact in its original form.
We invite you, dear listener, to consider the connections presented before you today. Let them sit in your mind like that undisturbed bed of snow on a quiet evening.
Let each detail fall, clear in its own form, until it slowly becomes part of the whole.
I am the reindeer who ran over Grandma, Daniel Kunkel.
And I am the backwash left in Santa's milk, Trey Plutnicki.
And this is the Mistletoe Secret. Trey, how many movies did we watch?
Daniel, I think in 2010, Hallmark released 11 movies, and we watched all 11 of those movies in a span of 7 weeks.
Absolutely. And we did some quick math on that. That is roughly 940 minutes total.
Yeah.
A small price to pay, I think.
Yeah, nearly
in terms of time lost.
It's 1,000 minutes of content that we consumed.
In a year where I can honestly say we weren't doing a lot of other important things.
No, this was the important thing, which tells you about like where our priorities are at the moment. This was the
we'll
most.
We'll infinitely date this podcast.
Yeah.
at least this first season with 2010.
Yeah. A couple other fun statistics about this. We talked about, there were a couple things that we talked about during the show that seemed to jump out at us as like Hallmark. I don't want to say cardinal sins. I want to say
standards.
Yeah, that's
that
it.
Gold sticker that comes on a Hallmark card.
Yeah, golden standards. One of them being our namesake, Mistletoe. We've had how many mistletoe kisses have we had in this first phase?
We have had approximately 4 mistletoe kisses. Truly romantic or intentional mistletoe kisses.
Yeah.
We have decided to not count in the Battle of the Bulbs when there is a multi-kiss with the same partners under the same mistletoe. We have decided to count that as a single mistletoe kiss.
Yeah. It's unique kisses. We're looking for unique kisses. And honestly, 4 is low. Do you agree with me?
Incredibly low.
Yeah, I feel like that's low.
It was mostly family movies this year.
That's true.
It was mostly family films or personal journeys.
Yeah.
This was not the romantic Christmas that I think if you do a quick cursory Google search of Hallmark today, you will find is their offering.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yep. We also had two great sets of criteria that we developed. These are brand new. We have not published our scientific papers on them yet, so please do not steal them. But we had our meet cute criteria developed by yourself, Dr. Plutnicki. Would you care to explain them?
I'm not a doctor yet, but maybe next year I'll get my doctorate in meet cute.
You are in my heart, though.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So the meet cute criteria. In order to have a Hallmark meet cute, you need to have a belligerent bystander, whether that's a stranger or a non-stranger or one of the two people meeting cute. You have to have an embarrassing moment, whether it be your dress getting caught on a nail as you're walking away, or you stuttering as you're saying "I love you" way too soon. And speaking of too soon, we got the too soon to ask out, which is when you just first meet someone and it seems like one person really wants to just go for it, but it becomes an awkward moment in how soon they are meeting compared to when they should be asking someone out.
Yes. Did we agree on what our favorite meet cute was? Or maybe not our favorite. What we think the best one is this year?
The best meet cute, I would say one of the best meet cute, the one that sticks out to me is the one in Farewell, Mr. Kringle. When when she's in the hotel room, and then the guy that is way too attractive to have any business fixing that radiator is fixing the radiator, and she comes out of the bathroom, and then she comes back the second time and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was so crazy back then," or something like that. I like that one a lot. Do you have a favorite one?
I have a favorite one. I think the one from Call Me Mrs. Miracle was really, really nice. I think I'm biased because that was also the week you introduced this hypothesis to the world.
Yeah.
So I do have that association with it. But I think all of the components were there, and I thought the actors really, really sold that one in a really fantastic way.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah.
But all of our meet cutes, we had 6 of them total this year. All of them were great in their own ways. We had young love. We had some older individuals experiencing love. We had it all.
We also had some little tykes that were a little rude to everybody, and we call those stinkers. So do you want to talk about stinkers with us?
I'd love to. Yeah. We have a very strict set of criteria to be a stinker. We have 2 hard set rules you must pass and 1 optional depending on your sibling situation in the film. So if you have a sibling, you must be opposed to or annoyed by that sibling at least once in the film. Ideally, it is just kind of a character trait that you are given when you roll out of the factory. And second, you must be responsible for putting someone in danger at least once. This can be physical or emotional distress. More often than not, it is physical, but we do have one key example where it is a stinker and it is emotional distress.
Yes.
The someone can also be yourself. I don't know if we had that situation.
Where you put yourself in danger? The stinker puts themselves in danger.
Yes. Okay. I think Call Me Mrs. Miracle, the stinker does put himself in danger, but the person I'm thinking of is actually his aunt, who he puts in emotional distress.
Gotcha. And I'm also thinking of An Old-Fashioned Christmas when our oldest stinker in the HCU gets himself punched.
Gets himself punched and gets himself into a sword fight.
Yeah.
And then our last little criteria, you must hate homework or any work of any kind.
This is and that's a common one. Like that one is more common than I thought because how many stinkers do we have?
We had 8 total stinkers by our calculations.
Yeah, 8 total stinkers, and sincerely all of them did hate homework or work.
Yes.
Period. Yeah.
Although I think our exception to that rule is the guy from An Old-Fashioned Christmas. He hated doing work at home.
Yeah.
He did hate homework. Because we didn't say schoolwork.
No.
He hates homework.
Work at home. Yeah.
Yep.
In that way.
So that's a quick little recap for you all. We're going to take a quick little commercial break here, and then we're going to come back and present to you in its entirety, so far, the Hallmark Cinematic Universe.
We begin with an ending. John Wilson, a veteran, a loving husband, loses his wife in a tragic car accident on Christmas Eve, 1960.
She was hurrying home. It was a cold, rainy Christmas Eve. Betty never liked to keep me waiting. If only she knew, I'd have waited forever. My Betty was one of a kind. Beautiful inside and out.
His grief and love of the holidays combined in a unique way, allowing him to become the first vessel for Santa Claus.
This is what it feels like, Annabelle.
What feels like?
Oh, right into my magic sleigh, way up in the heaven.
Must be nice.
Oh, it is. It really is. I'll take you there someday.
They switched places for a week, during which John began to spread Christmas cheer in his small community of Somerville, California. When Santa Claus finally managed to free his form from John, he returned to the North Pole to ponder his new power. The incident forever changed John. He legally changed his name to Kris Kringle, and his good deeds would inspire the people of Somerville to change their town's name to Mistletoe in 1978. His story wouldn't be told in full until 2010 in Farewell, Mr. Kringle.
Now hold on. Did you just say a vessel for Santa Claus? Like that was some normal thing to happen to a man? Yes, we did. Remember that in the Hallmark Cinematic Universe, anything is possible. How does one become a vessel for Santa Claus? Why does one become a vessel for Santa Claus? Let's look at the film The Santa Suit for the evidence. Hunter Toys, the subject of the Santa Suit, was founded in 1970. They were known for producing top-quality toys, notably dolls. But as the company's aging years turned to decades, the quality of Hunter Toys dropped. The reason? Hunter Toys' new CEO, Drake Hunter, and his focus on profit rather than quality. One of Hunter Toys' biggest blunders was the Intellitron, which needed to be recalled from stores nationwide in Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
Issues for the makers of Intellitron continue to mount tonight. The line outside this toy store wraps right around the block as angry consumers return the faulty robot. We have one of these concerned consumers.
Seeing a chance to not only guide a wayward soul back to Christmas spirit, but also help bring down a poorly run capitalistic abomination, Santa intervened, using his body-snatching powers to force Hunter to appear and sound just like Santa. This happened during a scheme Hunter Toys was planning, utilizing Santa's likeness to subliminally tell kids to buy more of the toys.
Oh, this Santa Claus marketing idea is brilliant. They're getting Santa Claus. We're supplying them.
It's a marketing tool. It's wrong.
So, who are you? The conscience and soul of Santa Claus?
I don't remember interviewing you. What's your name?
Chris Crandall.
Trespassing? What? I am the owner of this company.
Yeah, Rudolph's waiting for you in front of your sleigh.
Assaulting? I'll show you assaulting.
Let's go. Hey, watch the suit. Come on, you
Forced to live without the luxury and ease he was used to, and realizing how his greed affected the lives of not just himself, Hunter would return to his body and reinvent Hunter Toys into a more ethical, but entirely unprofitable venture.
A complete overhaul. I want to improve the quality of our products. I want to give a full work week to all employees. I mean, they can work overtime if they want. A better health plan, a better dental plan. Let's see what we can do to make their lives a little bit better.
What has gotten into you?
I don't know. Why don't we just call it the Christmas spirit?
Just as Santa wanted it to be.
Now, I personally believe that Santa would have wanted to keep this power a secret. But John Wilson's story caught headlines very, very quickly, and word got out to his friends about the real truth of Mistletoe. When he heard of what happened to his friend and former military buddy, Jess Stanford from the film November Christmas, himself having recently lost his son, realized the terrifying power that Santa could wield. Using his contacts in Homeland Security and the military, Jess would found the Asymmetric Threat Division within the Department of Homeland Security. This branch of the DHS was first discussed in the Hallmark Cinematic Universe in the Santa incident. On the surface, it seems to monitor extraterrestrial threats to Earth, but its true mission, known only to a few, was to hunt down and capture St. Nicholas. Jess would eventually retire back to the country, where he would help a young, sick child and her father realize the true meaning of the holidays and the events of November Christmas. On his deathbed, he would renounce his vendetta against the big fat man. Now, if this sounds like an innocent action Santa has taken in order to improve the world, and more importantly, Bloomberg's New York City, then you would be correct. However, what's the one governing body that may have a problem with an all-powerful being like Santa who tries to tear down capitalist institutions? The United States government.
Wait, what? Are we hearing this correctly? The United States government is hunting down the jolly man whose only vice is a glass of warm milk and a plate of chocolate chunk cookies? What could Santa possibly be doing to deserve this treatment? Besides the odd body snatch here and there. Well, the Asymmetric Threat Division has the evidence. But who are these champions of capitalism? The secret weapon of the Department of Homeland Security, the Asymmetric Threat Division, as we said, was introduced in the Santa incident. Represented throughout the film by agents Erickson and Cunningham, the ATD on the surface is full of bumbling fools prone to violent emotional outbursts.
Sheriff Goober. Net tightens around this little family.
Yeah.
Hey, what's funny? No. Why do you always laugh? Why are you laughing?
I thought you wanted me to.
This isn't funny. This is not.
They're also very fond of threatening 9-year-old children with illegal detention in off-the-books black sites.
Who found him?
If you ever touch my kids again, it'll be the last mistake you ever make.
Well, that is quite a threat, coming from someone who can just disappear with a phone call.
What did you just say?
So much for counting on help from the local
But don't let their comedic exterior fool you. These are hardened, Santa-hunting machines, determined to wipe out any resistance to the free market. They're foiled in the film by the quick-witted Santa, with some help from his elves, who use chemical weapons on the agents, as well as a fully armed SWAT team.
It's time. Let's nice them.
Incoming! Whoa! What is that? Team, not ready. Under. Can't see anything. Can't see a thing. Ready, weapons ready. Amazing. Colors. What is that?
We only have one view of the ATD in this first year, but we are confident that they will return, having learned from their first real encounter with the Jolly Red Giant.
Brute force isn't the only tool of the government. There's trickery, deceit, and a particularly crafty plot involving Christmas lights. Enter The Battle of the Bulbs, the final film of 2010. We meet two families, both alike in dignity, in the small town of Richmond, California. Though once friends in childhood, Bob Wallace and Stu Jones had a falling out in their youth that has continued into their adulthood.
After I'd already sold them that subscription anyway, I was upset. We had a big fight. I thought he was over it. But instead,
I got a list of everyone that he delivered to. And I called everyone whose subscription was about to expire, and I renewed their subscriptions.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. He got credit from my customers. Not full credit, mind you. Renewals were only worth half a point, so...
Stu finds out about me selling to his customers, and he goes nuts. I mean, I couldn't believe it. What he did was so much worse than what I did. I had to steal 2 of his customers for every one that he stole of mine.
Well, all's fair in love and war.
Not in newspaper motorcycle contest between 2 best friends.
When Stu moves across the street from Bob, their rivalry is reignited, with the two competing to have the best light display on their houses.
But why show us this battle? Is this simply a fun family romp of pranks and minor battles, or is there something more to it?
If you've been paying attention, you already know the answer. Bob and Stu end up competing for a $5,000 cash prize, sponsored by the mayor of Richmond. That's a lot of money, I hear you whispering under your breath. Especially considered the city of Richmond only took in approximately $108.5 million in principal revenue sources. So why have such a high reward? It's a known fact that Santa loves Christmas cheer in all its forms. Is there a, forgive the pun, brighter way to celebrate the season? We posit that the federal, city, and possibly even state government have come together in an attempt to lure Santa into a festive trap he can't resist. By encouraging ordinary citizens to decorate their houses to an absurd degree, the government hopes to attract the red-suited stranger into a trap. And, in 2010, we saw them succeed.
You are intruding unrestricted airspace. Divert from your present course immediately or be destroyed. Repeat, change course immediately or be destroyed. Patterson Control, Zulu High Rise. Bogey is not responding to my calls to veer off. Good hit. Splash one bogey.
Copy that, Zulu High Rise. Return to base. This incident is classified top secret. Repeat, top secret.
No
Calm down, listener. You're getting too excited. And we don't want you to have any heart problems. Well, remember the Santa incident that we talked about earlier? It takes place in the town of Rockwater Bay. Rockwater Bay, California. A made-up town, sure. But the name implies it's near a bay. And Richmond, California sits squarely on the shores of San Pablo Bay. You do the geographical survey.
Now, the puzzle becomes clearer.
But wait, this doesn't add up. Santa versus the US government. Seems like a lopsided battle in favor of the people that have $700 billion to spend on military hardware. It sounds like Santa needs all the help he can get.
And luckily, he gets quite a bit of help. Now, in order to set this up, we need to visit our very first stinker in the Hallmark Cinematic Universe. A creature from the 1870s known as Cameron from An Old-Fashioned Christmas.
Actually, I haven't in a while, but,
You fancy a match?
No, he does not.
Tilly.
Does she make all your decisions for you, Mr. Hopkins?
Gad, you do not have to do this.
But I want to.
Undoubtedly a stinker, the film ends with Cameron seemingly cured of his stinkiness. Inspired by Tilly, the soon-to-be-published American writer, he encourages all the women in his life, notably his future daughters, to put their work above all else, a trait that continues to his descendant, Ellie, in 1990. Though Cameron's life was dull, uninteresting, and full of toxic masculinity, Ellie would distinguish herself in the field of biomedical research, as seen in the film Three Wise Women.
Close enough for this discussion. Any other questions?
Dr. Kilcoyne, is it true that you're close to developing a spinal recovery serum?
Well, as Chloe knows, the nature of my research is confidential.
Sorry, Dr. Kilcoyne. And is it true that you're getting married this Christmas?
That is true, on the 26th, but I won't be missing any of my sessions, and my name will still be Dr. Kilcoyne. Anything else? Thank you.
Though her knowledge and prowess would save hundreds of thousands of lives, her personal life suffered. But then, one fateful day...
You're not dead, you're fine. But you really don't remember anything else after breakfast?
No.
Nothing unusual about your dad, say?
No.
How is your dad?
He's great. He's given me a job.
Excellent. What about your boyfriend? Seen him at all recently?
I really don't remember.
Wonderful.
Just what is this? Who are you?
I'm Tom, your guardian angel.
Well, you drugged me and abducted me, didn't you? You're not a serial killer, are you? You're kind of creepy looking.
No, I'm not. I'm your guardian angel. Look.
Help! Somebody help me!
We are introduced to guardian angels. With this information, We can only assume that every character we've met so far has a guardian angel. Ellie's guardian angel helped her defeat the business demon in her soul, and had her replace it with anti-capitalist Christmas cheer. In Three Wise Women, we meet the guardian angel Tom, who introduces us to the 19, 39, and 69-year-old versions of Ellie. Tom decided to go with the Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future approach of fixing this holiday hardship. We also see evidence of guardian angels in Gift of the Magi, when our friend Jim is struggling with his married life.
Marriage can be tough, Wilson.
Tell me about it. Why do you think I'm in here every day?
In the film Gift of the Magi, Jim and Della find themselves financially struggling this Christmas season. Throughout the film, there are moments where the viewer questions whether these newlyweds will weather the strife they face this Christmas season. Jim, however, has a helping hand when he is working as a bartender.
Where's that pretty wife of yours? I want to meet her.
I'll go find her.
She's not going to get you anything. She'll feel bad.
She gives me everything I need just being her.
Oh.
Wow. What?
You get any sweeter on that wife of yours, you're going to get cavities.
We believe this is another example of a guardian angel presenting their guiding hand. But what if I were to tell you that there is a clearer and more groundbreaking proof of more guardian angels in the HCU?
To dive deeper into this mystery, we need some empty wall space, Polaroid photographs, and a lot of twine. Now, this was actually a prediction we made in episode 1 of the podcast. In episode 1, we watched the films The Night Before Christmas and The Town That Christmas Forgot. The movies that started it all. The same actor plays the father in both films, Rick Roberts, and we both thought that the two films were connected through this fatherly character. Here's a clip from the first episode of The Mistletoe Secret.
No, you're right.
I think it's a dream.
And it's honestly, think about this metaphor. So the dad and Coleman go over to one of the coal mines, right?
Yeah.
And to look around or something. But they go there and he falls in the pit. And
Coleman does.
Yeah, Coleman falls in the pit. And I was like, oh my God, he's dead. He's literally dead. They killed someone.
He looks dead.
Yeah, they literally killed the guy. He pulls him up with rope, out of this hole, like the dad does. And what a remarkable metaphor for what he needs to do in the first movie.
Now, this was an innocent hypothesis, and I'll be the first to admit that we were young and stupid back then. I'll also be the first to say that we weren't wrong. We just didn't know how right we were.
The Night Before Christmas is the first time we meet Santa Claus in the Hallmark Cinematic Universe. And he isn't depicted as the all-knowing powerhouse that we've been hyping him up to be. Santa crash lands in a suburban neighborhood because his head elf, Nigel, got his schedule messed up and sent out Santa on a death mission on the night before Christmas. Now, this may seem like an inconsequential mistake that Christmas spirit can easily fix. But that is exactly the problem.
That's because you weren't supposed to be in Wisconsin yet. You're on your way to New Zealand. I mistakenly used last year's date book and sent you out a full 24 hours early.
Okay, I can't believe I'm gonna...
He crash lands in the shrubs outside the Fox household, where we meet a husband-wife couple that can only be described with the words business.
Hi, sweetheart. How was your day? Oh, don't ask. It was murder. You're lucky you work at home. First of all, the office fax machine breaks down. Then my secretary calls in sick. And then the internet decides to stop working for some reason. Then you know what? To top it all off, I got a jet stream and a King Air on the ground in Bakersfield. Both of them need fuel pumps. I found a couple in the LA warehouse. But, try getting a delivery company to pick up the phone 2 days before Christmas. I've been on hold for an hour. Hey, you sport?
The husband and wife, Wayne and Angela, have two lovely kids named Toby and Hannah. Toby is quite the stinker, but we don't need to get into that right now. Toby and Hannah are desperate to help Santa fix his sleigh, but because the kids don't quite have the financial security to handle a task like that, they need their parents' help. But Wayne and Angela seem quite locked in their business ways. But suddenly, and without explanation, it seems like Wayne has a change of heart.
My family. Yeah? You just have to wait. Thought he would be upset, but he wasn't.
I just did the same thing to Tuck like 5 minutes ago. I told him he should even go home and spend Christmas with his family.
What did he say?
Said it was a great idea. She thought of it himself.
Now, this caught us off guard. So off guard, it seemed like there was obvious off-screen intervention.
Enter the town Christmas forgot, or should I say, the Guardian Angel's main office space. In the film, The Town Christmas Forgot, a family gets trapped in a snowstorm in the middle of nowhere. Then, a nice man named Coleman gives them a lift to the town of nowhere.
Sir, how much do you think it would cost?
Cost? Nothing. I'm going that way. Oh, what about our luggage? Lots of room in the back of the truck.
Okay,
Let's go.
thank
Let's go.
you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's cold out here.
Just bring what you need.
All right.
Do you have any...
Nowhere is a coal town that lives up to its name. It's a town that has potential bubbling up from underneath it, but appears to be held back by an outside force. That outside force turns out to be an inside force, the mayor of Nowhere. It's revealed that the mayor of Nowhere sold out the town to coal tycoons, despite the pre-existing and bustling Christmas market that once existed in Nowhere. It was so successful that they even once called it the North Pole. I could spend the rest of the episode talking about how the town of Nowhere is the most interesting character in The Town Christmas Forgot, but I'll save the details of the mysterious Santa's workshop, the locals who appear out of thin air, and the abandoned coal mines for a later theory. For now, let's talk about the guardian angel that appears in this movie, Coleman.
Yeah, thank you. Have you seen Coleman around?
Probably over at the Legion, cooking up some grub.
A little competition?
You know, we got some less fortunate families in town. Coleman gathers up some things, prepares some food, gets some presents for the kids. Sometimes he even delivers.
More like a soup kitchen?
I guess you could call it that. Oh, he's a good man, that Coleman. It's like the walking spirit of Christmas.
Well, let's hope it rubs off on the rest of us.
Coleman's purpose in this film is very clearly to teach Charles, the father of the stranded family, some sort of lesson. Coleman takes Charles to one of the coal mines to deliver cookies, and the two of them find themselves in a sticky situation.
Hey, Coleman! This isn't funny. Coleman! Coleman! Coleman!
He's stuck in an old mine shaft, at least 20 feet underground, with no way to get out. This forces Charles to help Coleman in the same way Coleman helped Charles at the beginning of the film. It's in this coal mine that we find ourselves tangled in the HCU's most convoluted metaphor. You see, Charles, from The Town Christmas Forgot, is the dream version of Wayne from The Night Before Christmas, and this encounter in the coal mine is what wakes him up from that Christmasless nightmare he was leading in his still waking life. Coleman is Wayne's guardian angel. Let me take you through this slowly. Wayne is a businessman, which means he's entirely devoid of Christmas spirit. When literal Santa Claus arrives at his doorstep and Wayne still feels this way, the guardian angel must step in to fix this error in a similar way that Tom did in 3 Wise Women. Wayne goes to sleep and enters the dream world of Nowhere, where he unknowingly meets his own guardian angel, Coleman. Coleman takes him to a coal mine, the world's most heavy-handed metaphor, signaling that Wayne may have done something wrong this Christmas season. Wayne then finds himself stuck at the bottom of a mine shaft, needing to pull himself and Coleman out. When Wayne rises from the mine shaft, it awakens something in him. He wakes from this dream state and finally decides to help Santa. Mark my words, you will be seeing more of Nowhere in some form later in the HCU.
However organized the HCU is becoming, though, there must always be an element of chaos, of mystery. Who could forget the enigmatic Mrs. Miracle, the titular character of Call Me Mrs. Miracle? Her role in this is still yet to be seen. Could she be an agent of Santa? After all, through her efforts in the film, we see Finley's department store go from a ruthless and cost-effective titan of capitalism to a sentimental and family-focused money vacuum.
Despite our efforts, hundreds of man-hours, and more than $50 spent, we could not find a connection in the film between Mrs. Miracle and Santa, or the capitalist forces of the American oligarchy. Her place in all of this is still unknown. Is Mrs. Miracle another example of a guardian angel? If that, whose guardian angel is she? Could she be a double agent trying to fulfill Santa's agenda? Or is she a completely separate entity, only working for her own unknown self-interests?
In this first phase of the Hallmark Cinematic Universe, we've gotten a lot of answers, but we still find ourselves asking more questions every film. Who is Santa working with? How much does the US government have on Santa? Who really is Mrs. Miracle? What are the guardian angels really trying to accomplish?
Before us, we have a bit of an underdog story. Santa is face to face with his biggest adversary yet, the Department of Homeland Security. And to answer all of these questions, we will have to wait until Phase 2 of the Hallmark Cinematic Universe. It's amazing to think how vast and convoluted this world has already become in just 11 short movies.
We've met families, big and small, traveled through time itself, met forces of good, evil, and maybe forces with motives so complex that they defy human imagination. There have been tears, heartbreak, love, and so many mistletoe kisses.
But rest assured that this is only the beginning.
If you watched along with us for this first season of The Mistletoe Secret, thank you. If you have any theories that you've been spinning yourself, contact us at mistletoesecret@gmail.com. The theme song of The Mistletoe Secret is written by Colin Robertson, and the music that you've been hearing underscoring this episode of the podcast was written by Matt Gittins. Be sure to follow us on Spotify and share this podcast with your friends in time for the Christmas season. Daniel and I will see you in the new year. Stay jingling and stay jolly.